It's very close, very competitive. Obviously, you've got this new BMB rivalry which is starting. Not rivalry, I think that's probably the wrong word. This really good battle between these two riders at the front that you can see on the screen at the moment, which is Humphreys and Dilks. Really good to watch, really close racing, but they get on as well. So in fact, you can see both their dads chatting and laughing next to each other on the left there. So yeah, it's really good to see, and it makes for good racing. And if they can keep pushing themselves forward as they go through all the classes and continue to progress, that's what's actually driving them on. They will get better and better and better because they're pushing each other.
I think it's a rivalry in a good sense, isn't it? Because they're pals really off the track, but that all goes out the window on the course. But they still got respect for each other on there.
Oh yeah, they're best buddies in the paddock, as most of them are really. So they've got a lot of respect for each other. They'll race each other hard, and long may that continue. You look at some of the other classes now, like the 140s and 160s. These guys have raced against each other for like 10 years.
Definitely, yeah.
So they know each other well.
It's you'll have no qualms about potentially trading paint or going down the inside of somebody, but you do know where to draw the line, almost, you would say, in that aspect. And these two, they've got a good respect for each other on the track as well.
I don't think at this age group they'll just all ride really hard. There's no thoughts of anything else other than that. And with the speed that they're going there, some of these kids now are elbow down on the ground.
So one or two of them, elbows as well.
Elbow down, round the corner. Their technical ability on the bikes, because they've done it from such a young age, is really, really high, which is great. But the speed that they run at is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And I always think as well, when you see these riders in the paddock, when you see how small they are children in effect. How much racecraft they've got as well. It's like they're switched on. If somebody goes steaming down the inside, they'll know to hang back and just get them on the cut back out of the corner as well. You'll know how to expect where rivals are on the track. It's pretty advanced. Here we go for the start. And another great start. Oh, look at that. They are side by side into the first corner, and Humphreys just about squeezes through, and actually Wilson Dilks compromised his line there a bit, so he drops back slightly, but he's right back in there as they go to the McRae hairpin for the first time. Oh, that was Mullen there, I think, having a little look down the inside of Thorley Trevorrow. Another great start of this race, Derv, and like we say, they've all got away very quickly indeed.
Yeah, if Wilson had just hung in there a bit longer, I reckon he would have had the room, but he gave up the spot. He thought he was in a bad position, and there's no stopping Tyler when he gets through, so he's now off and running, and the pace is probably going to be straight up to pretty fast from lap one. So Wilson's got to try and get back on the back of him as quickly as possible to have any chance really trying to get a move made, because once Tyler's got his head down, as you've seen so far this weekend, lap after lap after lap, he's consistent with his speed. So
here we go, Tyler Humphreys trying to break away now from Wilson Dilks, but Dilks is not letting him get too far down the track, just copying those lines, keeping on the back wheel. Thorley Trevorrow is still a factor in the early part of this race as well. 1.5 seconds covering the top three riders. Lewis Mullen in there as well with Miller Buchanan and Joel Grigg just a little bit further back as they make their way down the back straight, heading towards the S's once again at the top of the circuit. And there's the number 19 race leader Tyler Humphreys, looking very strong as they sweep back down the very slight hill towards the summer bend. And Humphreys just trying to break away now from Wilson Dilks in second. There is Dilks, he is still there. Thorley Trevorrow also handily placed, so you wouldn't say there's any chance of racing here at the moment, but they are still finely poised. And let's have a look at the gap. Only 2.5 seconds covering the top three, so absolutely no margin for error here.
No, any mistakes and it'll close back up, but they run such good, fast, consistent paces, all three of these kids up front. It would take a lot to close up that second. That's you going very, very fast. So I think if everyone stays consistent, this is probably the balance of where you'll sit.
Looks like we're down to 6 contenders in this final race, but the last place rider, so to speak, Miller Buchanan, was only 6.9 seconds down on the leader, showing how competitive this race is in its early stages. Humphreys still just trying to break away from Wilson Dilks. Dilks at the moment not able to put Humphreys under any immediate pressure, but he's still hanging in there in second place. We'll have a look at the gap as they cross the line. Humphreys, I think this could be on for the fastest lap of the race. Yes, it is, 51.5. And Wilson Dilks slapping with a pretty much 52 on the button there, so 1.5 seconds between the top two riders. That's not very much at all between these two at the moment.
No, and they're on the limit. They're on the limit of what they can do. So 51 seconds is fast on this track. I'm not sure what the conditions are like outside now. It looks like it's a little bit cloudier, so really good conditions for them to race. But consistency is, I think, the name of the game here. Tyler is clicking these laps through. Really good, positions his bike really well. No mistakes, really good.
There he is, then, number 19 of Tyler Humphries. On the power coming out of the summer bend in towards that paddock corner. Double apex right-hander. We see the number 42 there of Thorley Trevorrow, another rider who's pretty well travelled to get here to Rowrah this weekend, and over the line he goes in third position. 4.5 seconds adrift of the race leader, so he's still potentially a contender in this race. Trevorrow on the number 42 in third. Lewis Mullen over the line in fourth. Joel Grigg and Miller Buchanan battling, and they're only 10 seconds adrift of the race leader, so still with 6 laps to go. This Ohvale 160 race, not that much in terms of battling for position here, but it's still finely poised, you would say, especially those two front riders. And certainly the race leaders with no margin of error as we see Lewis Mullen charging away. Here's the battle. You don't want to say for last place, it's a bit unfair to say this, but 5th place and last position, Joel Grigg and Miller Buchanan still scrapping away there. There's the number 29 of Buchanan, and he's going to have a look on the back of Joel Grigg. Is he going to go for the pass at Summer Bend? No, it looks like Grigg's got the line covered. Here they come towards that double apex final corner. I think this just shows how competitive this race is, Dave, because these two are battling in essence for the final place. Yeah, final place, and it's wheel to wheel, and Buchanan, is it? Buchanan, yeah. Right on the back of Joel. Joel's a fast rider, really nice lad. Really good rider as well. He's really committed to the sport and pushing on really well. So all of these guys, they're lapping within about a second of each other. I'd say the slowest lap time, so to speak, at the moment is 53.1 from Miller Buchanan, which is less than 2 seconds off the race leader's pace. So it is a competitive race out there. Yeah, very competitive, and he's also chasing as well, which is going to help him because that will automatically drag him on in pace. If Joel pushes on in pace, Buchanan will push on in pace as well. So he can be learning. He's learning as well as riding, which is really good. So Tyler Humphries over the line, 51.5 that time round. 2.5 seconds from Wilson Dilks. Thorley Trevorrow still in third. Lewis Mullen fourth. And then these two riders, Joel Grigg and Miller Buchanan, battling away for that 5th place. And only 13.2 seconds covering the race field. Very quick riders out there. And riding very competitively indeed. Tyler Humphries trying to break away. The gap goes up now to 2.5 seconds. He's just chipping away and pulling away slightly. Joel Grigg riding very well there to hold on to that 5th place with Miller Buchanan charging hard. But here is the race leader, Tyler Humphries. 3 laps to go at the end of this one, and looking very strong. We'll have a look at the gap when he crosses the line this time. He's looking very quick and very smooth out there. Humphries goes over the line, lapping 51.8 that time round. And actually Wilson Dilks technically closes up, but it's only by a few thousandths. It's very finely poised, this one, and the gap remains at 2.5 seconds. Yeah, just in the background. It's just probably too far to want to hook onto. It's sometimes if you've got someone to chase, it can really pull you on, but I think Tyler does a really good job of really pulling the pin early. And then he's just a bit out of sight, a bit too far to really chase onto. But Wilson won't give up. He's really, you can see he's really working hard. His body movement, the way he moves the bike, he's still being aggressive, trying to get on the back. Only takes a small mistake and he can be back in there. It's that funny kind of gap here. It's not close enough to get a boost and think, I'm catching this guy up or I can go for a pass, and it's not far enough to be over the hill and out of sight. Exactly. It's just got to keep in there now, isn't he? 2 laps to go from Wilson Dilks. The gap goes up to 3 seconds, but that's nothing at all. Really fairly evenly matched on pace. Make no mistake, these two guys at the front, they're both going flat out at the moment. They're very close to their fastest laps there. I think Wilson Dilks just losing a few tenths there. That's all it is. Yeah, it's to be backwards and forwards on the lap times. That's because they're pretty much at the limit of what they're going to be able to do here. So just, again, all day, consistently on the money with the lap times, which means they're hitting, they're not slowing down, they're not rolling off or anything like that. They're fully committed to the race, and whether you're first or 5th, you still have to push on. So it's still only 15 seconds covering the entire field here.
Really
it's still
good.
very competitive. And Joel Grieg just pulling away now slightly from Miller Buchanan as the last lap board goes out. There is Grieg number 3. And still looking very strong indeed as he makes his way up towards that final double apex paddock then. Lewis Mullen looking strong in 4th from Thorley Trevorrow. As here is Tyler Humphries now on the last lap. Let's have a look as he takes it nice and smoothly through that Iredale's hairpin and back on the power down the back straight. Wilson Dilks not too far behind in second place. The gap was 3.2 seconds last time round, so at the moment Tyler Humphries has got this one wrapped up, but again half a lap to go, so he's got to keep it steady.
Yeah, keep it steady, bring it home through this part of the track, which is a brilliant part of the track. The left-hander coming up to paddock bend, just bring it round nice and smooth. So take that checkered flag.
There we go, so checkered flag for Tyler Humphries, chased to the line by Wilson Dilks. The gap just a shade over 3.5 seconds there over the line, so Wilson Dilks continuing his great day in second place as well. Thorley Trevorrow in 3rd, just ahead of Lewis Mullen, and then it's Joel Grieg. Miller Buchanan, I think, just dropping a little bit on that final lap, but he's still hanging it in there. And I'll tell you what, that was a 21 seconds covering the entire pack. There's not much racing going on there, but they were all very competitive indeed.
Yeah, very.